And now let me welcome onto the field of 68 After Dark, Mason Gillis, the star of the show for the Purdue Boilermakers, the number one team in the country, who went out and beat Penn State tonight 80-60. Mason finished with 29 points, including 9 threes, which was one better than Robbie Hummel's record at Purdue. So I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you, Mason, for taking Hummel down a peg or two. Guy, every once in a while, he gets too big for his britches.
No, he's a great man. He's a great person. Definitely. I didn't even realize I was even close to the record. Um, and I was walking around our stadium giving our fans high fives, and he stopped me and said that I had passed him on the record, and I was like shocked. It was really cool because I've always looked up to him. He's a Purdue legend. He's a great player. He's very successful now, so always looked up to him, and it's pretty cool to be able to say that I have that record now.
You didn't tell him that in the interview, post-game interview, did you?
No.
Good. Because you were supposed to tell him, look, I'm better than you. I broke all your records. I'm tired of hearing your voice around here. Like, I'm better than you. That's what you should have told him. Hey, I want to ask you about leading up to tonight, like with the background you've had with the injuries. What does a night like tonight for this team, the year you guys are having, what does that personally mean for you?
It's huge. The biggest thing that I've just stuck to is just working hard. Every single day doing what I need to do to make myself a better person, a better basketball player, and then also to help my teammates. And so I think that's what has kept me just a little level-headed, and to be able to focus on the good and not the bad in tough situations, because there's always good and bad in tough situations. It's just up to the individual and what they're going to look at. And so I have great people in my life that keep me focused, keep my mind right, and just to go into every practice, every game, every single day is a blessing. And so just looking at it like that, it takes the pressure off of things and just having fun with the game. I try to tell the guys every single day a couple of things. One, we're one step away, one day away from another championship, and then just to have fun with it, because the season gets long, especially this month that we just passed through. It's probably one of the toughest throughout the season. And so if you're not having fun with it, you're not going to get any better. You're not going to enjoy yourself. You're going to burn out on basketball. And so the group of guys that we have is very special. And it's a blessing to be able to go to work with them every single day.
When did you realize you guys had a chance to have a team that could put together a season like this, right? Like, I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but you're sitting here number one in the country, 21-1 on the season. No matter what happens, it's been special, right? When did you guys realize, and you individually realize, you had a chance to have a special team?
I think the first time it clicked for me was when we were out in Portland. We beat West Virginia, we beat Gonzaga, and we beat Duke. Going into those games, I knew we were a good team. I wasn't scared or nervous to play those big names. But I was just curious on how our young guys were going to perform on a bigger stage, how our returning guys were going to just handle different things. And I mean, we handled it as well as we could. That tournament was a very, very good springboard for how our season is going. And similar to last year, we had a good season. This year is going a little bit better, but our goals are to win the conference, win the in tournament, and then win the national championship. So that's what we're focused on every single day.
You talked about it, but you got young guys there. I mean, I know from a leadership standpoint, you got to help those guys along. How have they surprised you this early? I don't think anybody expected you guys to be this good.
Yeah, they've surprised me in just how they play. It's not easy playing in the Big Ten. Anybody that watches the game may think that it looks easy just because the players are good. And
well, when y'all smoking the league, man, and you got a 3.5 game lead, everybody's gonna think it's easy, man. Y'all making it look easy.
That 3.5 isn't big enough. We got to keep winning, and I think that's the best thing about our team and our coaches right now is we take the time to celebrate each and every win, but we don't let it carry on the next. Like, we'll celebrate it tonight, we'll enjoy the win tonight, but tomorrow is work. We're getting ready for IU. So that's what I think has kept us level-headed, and is going to keep us level-headed if we can maintain that.
All right. I got to ask you about the big fella, Zach Edey. We call him Shaq Edey around here. He's told this story to us before. Like when he first got to Purdue, he I think the quote he actually had was I sucked. And what Payne has kind of told the story before too is that when he first got to practice, he was like drilling you guys, keep giving him the ball, keep giving him the ball, keep throwing it into him. From the first time that you saw Zach Edey play to what he is now, like how big is that improvement? How much better has he gotten?
Man, it's tenfold. He's a completely different person. I remember getting yelled at by Coach Payne because I would throw the ball a little bit too hard, or just like areas back then he couldn't catch the ball. I would throw to those areas, and so him and we just had to learn talking to each other. You know, he's great at taking criticism. I feel like I'm pretty good at taking criticism, and so whenever he has something to say, I look at him in the eyes and listen to him. Whenever I have something to say, he looks at me in the eyes and listens to me. And the years and years that we've put in time to get better is what you guys see on the court, between Caleb making the deliveries to Zach, myself making the deliveries to Zach. He couldn't catch the ball when he first got here. Like, he just could not catch the ball, no matter how you threw it to him. If you bounced it to him, if you lobbed it into the air, if you fired it at his forehead, he just couldn't catch the ball. And I wouldn't say he sucked. He just wasn't very good at the time, but he realized that, and he's definitely put in the work. I tip my hat to him, give all the respect to him, because everything he is getting now, he deserves. And he's a great guy too. That's the most important part.
Last question for me is, do you guys hear any of the noise from the past of what Purdue or the Big Ten hadn't done in the tournament or anything like that? Does that motivate you guys, or you guys hearing any of those noise out there about the Big Ten gets in first round or Purdue won't make a long run? I mean, you guys have been the most impressive team in college basketball and #1 team deservingly. Do you guys hear that, the distractions and noise?
I would say we hear it. It's hard to not hear it in today's world, but our coaches do a good job of keeping us focused on ourselves. Like, when we lose, majority of times is because we beat ourselves. Yes, we're playing really good competition, but if you go back and watch film, the things that we talk about, if we do our job, if everybody does their job and is on the same page, we're most likely going to win. And we can find and pinpoint those times whenever we're not doing what we're supposed to do on defense, we're not doing what we're supposed to do on offense. And it seems really simple, but coach preaches the possession game. More rebounds, less turnovers. It's a winning formula, as you guys are seeing. And so everybody on the team just staying confident in the coaches and listening to the coaches, I think that's the biggest thing. But back to your point about the kind of talk about past Purdue performances in the tournament, me personally, I don't necessarily focus on that, but I do think a lot about last year. I think about the Rutgers game, the couple other games that we lost that we shouldn't have lost, one possession games that ended up taking us away from winning the conference. And so that hurt because we had talked all season about our 3 goals, and our 3 goals are the same this year. And so I don't want to get to the end of the season and we lose one game and that just takes away our Big Ten. And so we, as a team, as a collective, have 3 goals and everybody's working towards that. And nobody's straying away. That's why we're having so much success right now.
Yeah, Mason, you said the majority of the games that you've lost have been the self-inflicted wounds. Well, you've only lost 1 game this season. I gotta remind you of that.
Yeah, I was talking about last year too. But this year we go back and watch film, and not a knock to Rutgers. They're a great team, tough team, great Big Ten team. But we can pinpoint so many things that we specifically talked about in breakdown that we weren't supposed to do, or we were supposed to do something else. And then if you go back and watch film and that person doesn't do it and they score. But if we do what the coaches tell us to do, they don't score. Majority of the time, it's not perfect, but majority of the times what the coaches tell us to do, it works.
Last thing I got for you. You have the rivalry game coming up this weekend. You guys are playing at Assembly Hall, Purdue, Indiana. Just, I don't know if people outside of the state kind of understand what that rivalry means. So let me ask you this. What is that game? What is that rivalry? Or what does Purdue, Indiana mean to you?
Yeah, I can think of a ton of reasons why it means it means a lot to me. First off, we lost there last year, and that was I think, oh man, ever since PJ and Grady have been here, we haven't lost at IU. We haven't lost to IU in a while. So that kind of hurt, losing to IU last year and then like running the court on us. So we got to go back there and get them back. I grew up where Steve Alford and Ken Benson grew up in Newcastle, Indiana. And so my community is, I would say, maybe it's growing now, but I would say it's probably 30% Purdue, 70% IU. And some of my like close family friends, anytime I see them, they tell me that they hope I have a great game, but they ultimately want IU to win. And that's cool. But I always tell them, you guys picked the wrong side. So we're the winning team. We have fun. It's fun to watch us. So it's what it is.
Well,
we'll see how it goes Saturday.
Listen, Mason, I appreciate the time. Congrats again on the game. Congrats on your performance. Hell of a night. Make sure you enjoy it and make sure you get ready. Saturday, Purdue, Indiana, one of the most anticipated games on the schedule for me this season. Mason Gillis, 29 points. Thank you, sir.